What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the RAS Project, real stories from real humans. This is where we debunk the bullshit and fluff and talk about 100% proven tactics and strategies to help you grow your life and business, of course. My name is Ivan Temelkov, and I am your host. I've got one favor to ask. Did you find value in this episode? If so, please tell others about the RAS Project. They can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Pandora, or anywhere else you listen and watch podcasts. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Ivan Temelkov, or just search for Ivan Temelkov as well, where you can watch this episode of the podcast. Got questions? I've got answers. Send me an email at ivan@razorsharpdigital.com with your question, and I will be more than happy to tackle it on a future episode of the podcast. And with that being said, I want to tackle a topic that is very, very heavily misconstrued, scrutinized, misunderstood, all of the above. And that is, do you need a degree for marketing? But first, before we dive into the topic, I want to say a special thank you for those of you who have been downloading the RAS Project, watching the RAS Project. And the reason I say that is because I've seen a significant spike in traffic over the last week specifically, and I want to thank all of you guys. Without you, there is no show. I do the show to help share value in hope that it will impact your life, your business. And so with that being said, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your effort. And I want to dive into the topic right off the bat. Do you need a degree for marketing? No, you do not need a degree to get in the marketing field. And I am a prime example of that. In fact, the reason, because I did not acquire a marketing degree, and I went to the School of Hard Knocks, aka Google, and self-taught myself, I actually had more real-world experience that companies were looking for, and as a result, was able to embark upon my journey that I did, which segued into everything that I'm doing today. And I'll share a little bit about that. Now, before I share my story in terms of how I got into marketing specifically and the doors that it opened up for me, I want you to understand something that I think is very commonly misconstrued when it comes to marketing. Marketing and business are not the same. Okay, I think a lot of people that get into the marketing space don't understand that you do need to have some general business acumen to be able to apply that in the marketing space as well. You know, you don't need a degree to know how to do social media marketing. You don't need a degree to know how to build a digital marketing strategy. You don't need a degree to know how to run Facebook ads or Google ads. You can take courses online or pay someone to teach you how to do it. You don't need an official degree for any of that. And I think that's where one of the misconceptions is. Now, what you do need as an entrepreneur, especially in the marketing space, is that you do need to have some business acumen. Okay? And here's what I'm talking about. I want to share a little bit about my story. So it was back in 2006 when I first applied for my first internet marketing job. Yes, they still call it to this day internet marketers. There's actually some companies out there that hire for internet marketers. But when I applied for my first marketing job in 2006, so I was 26 years old at the time. I had a lot of personal experience with like website development and some social media and using different technologies and that nature, but I didn't actually have any real world experience where I worked for a company, right? So I was a complete crapshoot, but luckily for me, I got hired on, and being a fast learner, being very curious, I was able to work up the chain. So, no, I didn't have any degree. I mean, just to kind of give you an example, when I started my first job in 2006, I learned a lot about website development, using different softwares and technologies. All of this stuff came natural to me, but it was all self-taught through reading stuff on Google at the time, or taking some courses, or just really a lot of practicality, a lot of trial and error. Now, within a year of my first job, I was offered a new position to manage over $1 million in Google Ads advertising for a large billion-dollar real estate company here in St. Louis. And the reason I was offered that job is because I had acquired enough seasonality so fast, and I became so good at Google Ads at the time, that they recognized that there was nobody out there. I mean, mind you, at the time, nothing like this was even being taught. So here's a company that was spending $1 million per year on Google Ads advertising, but they had absolutely no fucking clue how to manage it, and they were looking for someone who was specialized, that had that specialized skill set to be able to come on and take over that account. So that person was me, and the reason I'm telling you this is a part of my story, as in terms of my marketing journey. I was someone that at that point, I had managed a good size of Google Ads accounts. I was Google AdWords certified also at the time, and I had worked with a lot of small to medium-sized businesses with my first gig at the time. So I had a year of experience. Okay, mind you, no degree whatsoever in marketing, in advertising, and that actually got me a foot in the door. And so the reason I chose to talk about this topic today, do you need a degree for marketing, is to show you proof, myself, that I am proof that you do not need a degree to get into the marketing field. Yes, you do need to be agile. You do need to be tech savvy. You need to be curious. You need to be creative. You need to be a self-starter. You need to be a learner. You need to be a go-getter. A lot of that is personality related, but in order to succeed, these are things that you need to have. Now, furthermore, even beyond that, I mean, I've done so many different things, in the course of my agency days specifically, and I won't talk much about that, but what I do want to talk about is 7 years ago when I was offered the opportunity to build a curriculum for a continued education course at the University of Missouri in St. Louis, or otherwise known as UMSL, for search engine optimization and search engine marketing. Now, again, talking about the fact that you do not need a degree to get into marketing, this is another proof that you don't need a degree for marketing. So what had happened in that opportunity is, at that point I had acquired enough seasonality and experience, actual real-world business experience in search engine optimization and search engine marketing, doing paid ads, doing organic optimization and SEO, that I was brought on as an adjunct professor to build a curriculum at the University of Missouri in St. Louis. And this was something that I did for a period of 2 to 3 years before I exited out of that, and that's when I started to focus on my current company, my digital marketing agency, Razor Sharp Digital. Now, I was brought on at UMSL because I had seasonality. I had proof of concept. I had no degree, and in fact, that was questioned at the time when I was being offered the position, whether or not I had a degree. And I'm going to be honest with you, I felt a little weird about it. And I felt weird about it is because, here I am, a guy who has no degree and is going to teach people how to do search engine optimization and search engine marketing. Not to mention is I taught people who had MBAs, people who are smarter than me. Which, by the way, an MBA has nothing to do with search engine optimization and search engine marketing. It does have more to do with, business administration, right? Which that is what, MBA is, Master's in Business Administration. right? But he has nothing to do with marketing. And that's just it. I think a lot of people misconstrue the fact that you don't need an official degree, you don't need an accreditation to get in the marketing space. But what you do need to be successful in the marketing space is you do need a lot of proof of concept, a lot of trial and error, and a lot of proof that you've actually generated some results. And that's what I have at this point, Altogether, I've been in the marketing space since I was 14 years old. And I am 41 years old now. Professionally, I have done this for 15 years at this point. So the reason I'm sharing this with you and why I picked this topic, to talk about is because I think there's a lot of people out there who are going through the traditional channels of the education system thinking that they need to get marketing degrees in order to succeed in the real world. If anything that I probably would have done different, and honestly, I would probably even go a slightly different direction, is maybe gotten an MBA. And even now, you can get an MBA online for dirt cheap. And what that really is that it gives you a more targeted business acumen so you can understand the administrative side of running a business, which can be essential if you're in the marketing space. But even then, as an entrepreneur, I learn all of those things, through the School of Hard Knocks. Sure, others that have MBAs that understand the nuances of business administration a little bit better are probably a little bit more successful in running businesses. Not necessarily better marketers, because if you understand the business side of things, you might not understand the marketing side of things. If you understand the business and the marketing side of things, then you become a very, very valuable individual, someone who brings a wealth of knowledge to the table. So again, I hate to harp on this, but I'm proof of this, that you do not need a marketing degree to succeed. What you do need is to be agile, to be tech savvy, to be experimental and explorational, to be creative, to be a lifelong learner. And you can learn a lot of things in the marketing space, but I think one of the other challenges and misconceptions, in this digital world today is this, that, even if you signed up for a Facebook account yesterday, suddenly a lot of people label themselves as marketing gurus, just because they're on Facebook and they say that they do social media. That doesn't necessarily qualify you. Now, when it comes to qualifications of proof of concept, things to look for is reputation. So with my digital marketing agency, Razor Sharp Digital, we have a reputation, we have reviews, we have clients that can attest to the level of work and results and experience that we've generated for them. Most importantly, results from our marketing efforts that has moved the needle for them. That's really important. And then we're actually on the cusp of launching a brand new website at razorsharpdigital.com that will really illustrate all of the work that we've done, because the current website, believe it or not, is 5 years old and is way outdated. So the new website had to be prioritized in order to be pushed through and create a more succinct representation of who we are as a brand, as a company, as a digital marketing agency, and I should really say human marketing agency, because I personally dislike the word digital, because the digital space is so saturated nowadays, and at times it just frustrates the shit out of me, because everybody is a digital guru. So again, the biggest advice that I want to share with you, hopefully for you to understand out of this episode, is the fact that you do not need a marketing degree to be successful in business. You can definitely acquire a business degree for the administrative side of business. That will definitely help you. Things like operations and accounting and staffing and management and things of that nature. But even that you can probably acquire online. But the marketing side of it, you can take a lot of courses like on Udemy, for instance, or anywhere else where continuing education courses are being offered on marketing that are, very quick, straight to the point, or you can be like me, go to the School of Hard Knocks and learn a lot, but even then you're going to sacrifice a lot of your time, so it's better off taking a continuing education course so you can learn a specialized skill set that can help you in your marketing endeavors. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining me today on this episode of the RAS Project. Once again, I've got one favor to ask. If you found value in this episode, make sure to tell others about the RAS Project. You can subscribe anywhere on the interwebs, on any podcasting platform. Make sure and you jump on over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Ivan Temelkov. Hit that subscribe button so you can get future episodes of the RAS Project. And you got questions? I got answers. Shoot me an email at ivan@razorsharpdigital.com. And I'll be more than happy to tackle that question on the future episode of the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, have a fabulous weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time. Bye-bye.